Good morning, everyone. Please write to the chat. Can you hear me and can you see me? Good morning, everyone. Once more, I'm sure that you can, but anyway, please write if my camera and my microphone works well.
Yes, all right.
All clear, so safe and good. Perfect. That's perfect. Let's wait a bit for other participants who also want to hear a bit about our new device, the SPC210. And in general, let me introduce myself first, probably. My name is Sergey. I'm a senior product manager at akYtec, and I'm responsible exactly for PLC devices and SPC and IO models as well. Many of you know me already because you participated previously in our webinars regarding MX210 and 110 series IO models. But anyway, hello to everyone who who joined. So I will share my presentation now. I hope you will see it. Okay, as I see, my screen now should be on your screens, right? Chat.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. So let's start. Let's start. Once more, for everyone who did not hear me previously, my name is Sergey. I'm a product manager at akYtec, a German manufacturer of industrial automation equipment. And today we're going to talk about our new product, the SPC210. This is our first programmable controller, full-fledged programmable controller, I mean, in our portfolio. This programmable controller is equipped with the touch screen, so it will be, I think, even more interesting for you to hear about this kind of device. So here is our, wait a bit, please. Here is our agenda for today. And at the start, I will tell you a bit about who we are, what we do, about just a couple of words about our factory in Serbia, because many of you know that akYtec is a German company, but our manufacturing facilities and our R&D center is placed in Serbia. And for example, me and my colleague Pavle, who will hold the second part of the presentation, we are from Serbia exactly. So I will tell you a bit about our factory in Serbia and about main product categories in our portfolio. And after this demo and the starting part, we will go into a deep dive to the SPC, and we will discuss its place in system architecture, its use cases, and much more. And in the second part of our presentation, Pavle will show you how to configure and how to program the SPC in CODESYS 3.5 environment. So let's start with the general information about our company, because some of you may be very new with us. So we are an industrial automation equipment manufacturer. Our headquarters is placed in Germany, but our factory, as I said before, is placed in Serbia, in the city of Niš, in the southern Serbia. We was founded in 2010, in the year 2010. In Germany, and now we produce a full range for all level of automation equipment. I mean that we produce controlling devices, data acquisition devices, sensors, transmitters, and much more. I will tell you a bit about this later. Now we serve more than 3,000 customers, not only from Europe, but also we have our customers from Australia, from New Zealand, all over the world. So you can be sure that we can deliver our equipment to any part of the earth where you are in. So this is our 4 main focuses. The first focus is R&D. the most part, I would say that even all our devices are self-developed. So we do our research and development works. We also test our devices ourselves. We have our testing laboratory inside of the factory. We provide the service and support, and Pavle, for example, is a part and one of the leads of service and support team. And we also, of course, we produce these devices. Here on this screen and on this slide, you can see where exactly we produce them. This is our factory. The factory is in Niš, and we have basically everything which is needed exactly for the production of industrial automation equipment. We have plastic injection molding, we can assembly device, we can set up them and control, we can create a software for them and firmware for them. We also have SMD production, and of course we have our quality control direction, which is obviously responsible for the quality of our devices. And there are our main categories of products. I told you about it a bit later, but in general, there are all of them. The first category is our PLCs, full-fledged PLCs. Now we have just PLC plus HMI, SPC210, our main star for our today's presentation. The second product category is mini PLCs. Many of you know our PR lines, PR103, PR200, and many others. We also produce I/O modules, which means input and output models for the extension of the number of inputs and outputs for programmable controllers, not only our programmable controllers, but for any kind of programmable controllers which is Modbus based. Modbus TCP, Modbus RTU, doesn't matter. We have the devices for both. We also produce software, and probably if you work with us not just one day, if you work with us permanently, all of you probably know already about the akYtec's Cloud, our industrial monitoring and control system for remote monitoring and control through the cloud. We also produce configurating tools, agile logic programming ALP tool for programming of our PLCs, of our PRs, I mean. And Tool Pro is just for configuration of our devices, kind of I/O models or industrial process displays, and also pressure and also transmitters and sensors are in our portfolio as well. So if you need to measure some values regarding the pressure, temperature, or humidity, you can always contact us and we will help you with this. Let's finally talk about our new product, which was launched in April. But now finally we can tell about this device for the large audience. The SPC210. What is this? Actually, this is a combination of PLC plus HMI. Why this is PLC, I will tell you a bit later, but in general, now it is available in 7-inch and 10.2 inches versions with resistive touchscreen. It is equipped with 1.2 gigahertz processor. It has pretty large memory capacities, ROM 4 gigabytes, RAM 512 megabytes. It also has probably all needed interfaces for such kind of device. Ethernet, one Ethernet port, 3 RS485 ports. One of them is galvanically isolated. One RS232, RS232. Mostly it is used for the devices which are connected with utilities sector, public utilities sector. Also, it has USB port and SD card slot. So if this amount of memory is not suitable for you, you can easily expand it with the SD card. It also supports Modbus TCP and Modbus RTU both. It supports OPC UA server, and it supports MQTT protocol and others. All these technical things you can find in our user guide. Pablo will show you our website where you can find all this documentation and user guides and all supporting materials. It also has web visualization and database connectivity. So you can connect the SPC210 directly to the database and write parameters there, for example. And it is Linux based, so there is nothing special, but in general it is Linux based. So how it works? It works pretty standard for any PLC, you know, because you can create and compile the program in the CODESYS 3.5 environment. You can transfer it directly from your PC to the SPC210 via Ethernet cable, or you can upload this program from any USB flash drive, because we have a USB port. The SPC will act as a central controller in the system. It does not require an additional controller as a standard HMI panel, which requires controller which will control the outputs. It also, well, I didn't mention it previously, but now I should do it because it does not feature onboard I/O points. For example, we do not have analog or discrete I/Os on board of the SPC, but it works with our MX 110 and 210 series, so there is no problem in adding additional I/O points to this device. It can receive signals via RS and Ethernet. I already told a bit about it. It also can communicate directly with our other equipment like programmable relays and any kind of meters. Here you can see this standard system architecture. I can show you because here you can see that in the center of all the system, the controller SPC210, it is connected with any kind of other equipment, with I/O modules, with heat or electricity meters, with programmable relays, frequency converters, sensors. It can be connected to sensors via our MX series, and then it can transfer the data to SCADA systems, MES systems, ERP systems, doesn't matter what, but it can send the data to the next level of automation. And here you can see a live example of using our SPC. You can see it on photo here in the control cabinet. This is used in one of breweries in Czech Republic, and the core of the control system is akYtec equipment. akYtec programmable logic controller with touchscreen SPC210-07. We also added there discrete input module with Ethernet MV210-204, and all this equipment you can see on the screen. I will just not bother you with all these names, but in general, all this system is aimed for automatic water heating, for control of brewing processes, because you know that there are a lot of processes connected with humidity, pressure, and temperature of brewing. I mean, for control of pumps on this factory, for process monitoring, for control of cooling systems, of course, because after brewing, beer should be cooled. And for remote process control, of course, via our akYtec's cloud service. So the owner of this factory or his engineers, they all could see all the processes inside of the cloud. Sure. And now I will present you. Now I will tell a bit about why SPC is different from the standard PLC and the standard HMI panel. Now you can see the aspect, for example, the functionality. Usually PLC analyzes data from inputs and execute control functions, so it controls outputs. While HMI panel, just a standard operator panel, it provides interface for monitoring and control. So HMI itself usually cannot control the system, and SPC combines these both functionalities of PLC and HMI. So it can control, it can analyze, and it can provide the interface. Also programming. PLC usually can be programmed in industrial programming languages, ST, ladder diagrams, functional block diagrams, and HMI usually they have graphic interface where you can use symbols, icons, and it does not have so programming focus. And SPC in CODESYS environment, you can do both. You can write your program for execution, and you can also create a visualization, and Pavli will show you how to create this visualization. If about usage, I already told you about that PLC usually connects with I/O modules directly, and or it can be connected to the machines, and the HMI usually just displays I/Os, and SPC can do both. It can be connected to the machines, and it can be connected and display the I/Os. And if we are talking about the cost, sure, now it's more obvious than can be, because it is pretty obvious that the combination of PLC separately and HMI will cost more than just an SPC. It is much cheaper than the combination, and one device is cheaper than two devices. This is obvious. So there are reasons to use and reasons to buy the SPC. You will need to have less space, because one device instead of two, less complexity, less configuration. The same reason you should configure just one device instead of two. This device, SPC210, it has pretty powerful processor and pretty large memory capacities, and I would say that there are not so many programmable logic controllers with touch screen on the market. There are many of them, but not so many as the standard PLC. So for this market, we have pretty large capacities of memory and power of processor, and it has fair price. About the price, I will tell you just a bit later. And there are useful products. You can add to your system when you use the SPC. Probably MX 110 or 210 our I/O modules are required for any system where you need to acquire the data from the whole plant. So you will probably use this this kind of devices. And unmanaged network switch, NS5 24. This is our unmanaged network switch, because it will be useful because our SPC has just one Ethernet port, and if you need and if your system requires more Ethernet ports, this kind of device, this device can save money and can help you to create the system you need. Okay, and there are the industries where we are presented. As you know, we started with the SPC not so long ago, so we do not have such a large portfolio of use cases for now, but in general, as we see now from our sales statistics, our customers for SPC210 are mostly from public utilities sector, from water treatment, from food and beverage, and agriculture. And what connects all these industries? There are liquids. If there are some processes connected with liquids for, I don't know, any kind of pump control or as it's shown here, water treatment process, brewery process, doesn't matter what, connected with liquid, the SPC seems very useful for this because our sales tell a bit about this, and our customers who already implemented the SPC to this process connected with liquids, they are pretty happy, I would say. Okay, and there is some kind of information about the prices. Here you can see the retail price, excluding VAT. The retail price is our price for the customers who purchase just one, for example, one device for the end users, for example. But if you are our distributor or you are our integrator, of course, prices for you will be much lower than you can see here on the screen. And for the smaller one, there are 471 euro for SPC 210 07, and for SPC 210 10 it is 556 euros. Once more, if you are a system integrator or distributor, just contact our sales at info@akYtec.de, or if you know, for example, Ilya Karetkin or our other sales managers, for example, Yasna Golubovich, or you can write directly to me, if you are ready to participate in our activities, if you are our distributor, the price for you will be much lower. And the last probably slide for my presentation, for my part of this speech, is about our development of the PLC line. Now we have just an SPC, HMI controller, programmable logic controller with HMI functions. Very soon, I hope that till the end of this summer, we will have our standard PLC 210. This is a Modbus RTU and Modbus TCP controller for any applications which where the SPC is not suitable. For example, where you should use a classic system with PLC and HMI. And we already started this project, and I hope that we will finish it till the end of the year. But I think that we will try everything to do this. Our PLC with BACnet protocol. This will be extremely useful for people who are into building management, automation, building management systems sector. So we already started our research and development cycle regarding this, and we will try to deliver this product to the market as soon as possible. So this is our plan for now. And this is probably all for this product part of the presentation. And now my colleague Pavle will tell you a bit about our technical details and the configuration and programming.
Hello, everybody. I hope that everybody sees me and everybody hears me. Thanks for joining. My name is Pavle. I'm technical support engineer here at akYtec, and today I will be the host of the technical part of this webinar. Before I move on with the presentation, I would just give everybody a couple of moments to write down any questions, if there are any. So if you have anything to ask for the Sergei's part of the presentation, feel free to do so. In the meantime, while Sergei was presenting, I tried to answer most of the questions that I know the answer for. And I hope that our guys from technical support will move on while I am presenting the rest. So if we are ready I would slowly start with the presentation, my part. So what we have and what we in technical support planned for this presentation, this webinar, we have created a small stand, which we will explain what it does, but the main start of this stand and this presentation is SPC210 7 inches. And the main idea of this part of the webinar is short introduction of what SPC is, how to program it, where you can find more technical details, and so on. On this stand in front of me, which is on the screen for you right now, we have the SPC as the HMI and PLC at the same time. So the code, which is very simple at the moment, it is just pressing this button and it is powering on and off this LED. Same goes for the virtual or digital LED. And we have one slider, which if we move, the value of the slider is presented on the SME2. So this is pretty basic. It is not anything special, but we will cover on how to do that, just to give you a quick glance at how are things done on our SPC. So main start is SPC. Powering everything is our passive power supply, 60 watts. If you are wondering if it is powering the whole system, why are there no wires? As you can see, there are no wires because it here should come to 130 volts AC, and I do not want to get in situation that I touch it and that we shut whole city, shut whole city off. So here we have module MU210 with digital outputs, which is communicating with SPC over the Ethernet or LAN cable with Ethernet and index, and displaying everything is SME2M, our RS485 display, which is communicating with SPC over Modbus RTU. As I showed you, it is pretty much simple. I would not waste your time. So you can see the touchscreen, it is working. And when I slide the slider, you can see that value is changing and it is responding and shutting on and off. Now, I would like to... Okay, no, before we see what is going on our website and so on, I would like to show you the package of SPC itself. So this is the package. It is 7 inches, 7-inch, a little bit more, maybe 9-inch package, because it is for the 7-inch model. With the bigger model of the device, you will get the bigger package. On the side, you have a label. I'm not sure what is the resolution, but it doesn't matter. You have the basic information, the serial number, the model name, and date of the production. So if we open the box, what you can see is the device itself. I will move it just for a quick overview of everything else. We have the user guide, not user guide, this is just a technical data sheet of the device. We have connectors for communication, RS485 and so on. And we have as well of, I'm not sure what are the names, but things that you use to connect the SPC on the wall, not on the wall, on the panel, the wall of the panel wall. SPC comes protected, so it is in protective, let's say, not socket, sleeve. And here is the device itself. So it is approximately 2 fingers thick device. It has communication protocols below, additional communication not protocols ports here. And for programming, you can use either USB or you can use Ethernet port as well. I hope that you can see. No, this is not Ethernet, this is power supply, this is Ethernet. So that is that. Let's see what we have on our website. So this is the presentation. Okay. Main star of the show is our SPC. As you can see, it can be found on our programmable logic controller section. This is a new section on our website. We didn't have it up till this moment. And here you can see, just let me move your icons. Yeah, you can see prices for the models. You can see what model it is. You can see quick overview of technical aspects of it, some features, protocols that it supports, and so on. In the documentation software section, you can find user guides, you can find CODESYS chat sheets, file start, and so on. I will not bother you with those information any further. We will take a deeper look in a little bit. As we saw on the board, we have MX210 module for digital inputs. We have SPC210 as well, and power supply. Now, before I switch to CODESYS itself to analyze what is going on there, I would like to point out that the most things that we talk about in the future and that we will talk about today can be found on our YouTube channel, akYtec's GmbH. This webinar will be as well uploaded to this webinar. So if you have any question, but you forget what it was, you can take a look again and remind yourself. Here you can find our previous webinars, for example. You can see our as well start guide for SPC210 and playlists with the explanation how to work in our environments. Here we will upload the example of the projects and answer some most commonly asked questions here by the video format, because that is by our research most convenient way. As let me see, there are some questions in the chat. Okay, there is a question from Mr. Cohen. I will not pronounce his last name because I will just destroy it. The question is, in communication between SPC210 and PR200, what is the best choice to set up as master? If we only talk about the situation where we connect PR200 and SPC210, it does not matter, because all the communication or data needs to go from one device to the other. That is general answer. But if you want to take a little bit more into consideration, you often have more than one slave. So you have, of course, one master, but multiple slaves in your network. And in that scenario, it is, of course, SPC210, because it has much stronger, much wider hardware than a PR200. So if you're wondering, will it fail? It doesn't matter, but how to say, reliability-wise, it doesn't matter. But speed-wise, SPC is, of course, your first choice in that scenario. I hope that I answered that question. Feel free to add additional questions if I didn't explain everything that you wanted. There is a question from Mr. or Miss Onishiforu. Question was, can this SPC connect with PR103? In general, yes, of course. And the rest of the question was, and program the whole system in CODESYS. I mean, the inputs, outputs can be programmed with the out. Okay, no. Answer on the whole question of a person called Onishiforu, I hope I said the name correctly, is no. In that scenario where you have two devices, PR and SPC, you need to use both software environments. Let me explain you why. ALP is our product. We developed the ALP in our house, so it is not third-party software, while CODESYS is. CODESYS is developed in Germany. It is well-known software environment used for these purposes, so purpose of programming programmable logic units. And not only akYtec is using that for its devices. So, but PRs are not supported yet by CODESYS, and I suppose that they will not in the recent future. So you need to utilize both software environments. Why do you need to use both ALP and CODESYS? ALP is low-level software environment. Let me remind you why. PRs, PR103, PR200 are all programmable relays. They do not classify as programmable logic controllers. What is the difference? In hardware resources. I will not go into details because I may be wrong. It is best to read it on the internet. But PRs are lower grade devices compared to the SPC. SPC or PLCs are highest grade devices. There is nothing better than PLC in that way of putting it. I hope I answered the question of Onishiforu. The next question from Norvin is, does SPC can produce trends or charts? Yes. Yeah, I see that Stefan answered. Okay. I hope that I answered on most of the questions. If you have any additional questions, feel free to ask at any moment, and I will make pauses during the presentation itself to check it, or you can connect your microphone to ask it directly, whatever suits you. Okay, we saw the stand, we saw website. Now we'll connect to our CODESYS. Okay, just let me back. I didn't finish a story on the internet. So I showed you our YouTube channel and about the environment. As previously explained, you need to use separate environment. It is called CODESYS. It is third-party software, so akYtec is not developer. There is a good side, there is bad side of it. Good side is that you have endless, how to say, examples on the internet, endless amount of resources from other places, other companies, which will help you to understand how to get started, which will be able to help you on maybe if there comes to misunderstanding or problem, something like that, you can check out on the internet. There is much greater data of answers and questions on the internet compared to the ALP. That is a good side. CODESYS is completely free. You go to CODESYS official, how to say, website and check it out, and you download it, whether 32-bit version or 64. It is free. You do not need any kind of licenses and so on. It is free to use. You just download it and you're almost ready to go. I say almost because I will explain you why in a little bit. You type in on the YouTube CODESYS tutorials, and there are endless examples from endless companies on that topic. Now, before move on to CODESYS itself, I would like to show you our web configurator. Web configurator is how to explain you configurator of the device from the web. So I have accessed the device over its IP address, which is this IP address is of its USB port. So I'm communicating. I have communication between SPC and my laptop over the USB. And this is the software, or rather environment, in which you will set up rough how to say, rough parameters. So you cannot create ladder diagram structure text. No, that is not. This is not meant for that purpose. This is more for general information. For example, uptime. Uptime at the moment is 1 hour and 9 minutes. What is uptime? Uptime in our example says that we started to prepare for this meeting 1 hour and 10 minutes ago, almost 10. It tells you how long the device has been running continuously on the power. You can see model of device, serial number, processor information, firmware version, and so on. You can see PLC cores, you can see environment, version of CODESYS for programming. You can see interfaces, you can change them, adjust them, configure them, shut them off, and so on. Again, I will not go into details of this because this is not the purpose of this webinar. Is not deep dive. It will be too technically heavy. We'll cut it in smaller pieces, and we will do several webinars in future to cover everything in more detail. Other than quick overview, you have firewall real-time graphs, such as, for example, load, traffic, CODESYS descriptors, and so on. This is rather useful if you want to check whether the CODESYS can handle the program that you have put it. You can expect, there's someone in chat asked, are PID loops possible? PID loops are supported by CODESYS and SPC, but if you, for example, use 100 PID loops with very, very high frequency, maybe you overload it, and here you can check whether the CODESYS, whether the SPC can handle the load that you gave it or not. For example, that is one way to use this environment. In the system section, you have more general settings, such as setting up language, logging, time administration, watchdogs. You have firmware update as well. So every once in a while, we upload new firmware for our devices to make them better. If we spotted some mistakes, some room for improvement, we uploaded them from on our website. I will point out it is in documentation and software section. You can find those firmware updates to make your SPC run even better. You can reboot the device. Okay. In the PLC section, two most important things are, first is downloads. In download section, you can find akYtec CODESYS packages. What are those? As we previously said, CODESYS is not developed by us. It is third-party software. We only upload our packages, which will help environment support SPC. So to work with SPC, first you need to download our packages. Packages can be found on the device, so it is integrated inside its raw memory, and you can download it straight from the device, or you can find them on the on the website, but I recommend from the device that is newest. And you do not need to worry whether it is supported, whether you will download the wrong serial number modification and so on. So from device, it is recommended. Going back to our web configurator. Yeah, I didn't explain what I explained shortly what the packages help environment support CODESYS. That is enough for this. If you have additional questions, you can write them in chat and we will answer them. And the main thing for this web configuration is web visualization. So our device has visualization. It can be either on the physical device, not either. It can be on the physical device and accessed over the internet. It is this visualization that is presented on the screen is live broadcast from what is going on the device. I will click on this button to put visualization on the separate screen, and I will change what I'm sharing with you to the second camera. This is the camera of a stand. I hope that you see it. And now I will, over this web configurator or web visualization, start playing with it. I'm controlling the system. This is pretty common in PLC world, but I need to show you that we have it and how to access it. So I'm moving the slider, and as you can see on the display of the device, the slider is moving as well, and the SMIT2M is responding. Same goes for the LED and MX210. Okay. Now, let me go back to the web visualization. Visualization we covered, we don't need more. We have services, no statistics. For example, statistics are used to analyze. It is more for us. You will probably, let's say, never use this, but this is to analyze firmware updates, whether they are improving the core usage. Here you can see for every core of the CPU of the unit, whether it is utilized and how much. You can see interfaces. You can see interfaces, what are their bandwidth, what is the usage of them as well, system load, processes, terminals, and so on. You can check everything that I say in the SPC's user guide on our website. I would say this is pretty much enough for this section for this time. I will log out from the device and move to CODESYS. In the meantime, while I am opening CODESYS, feel free to ask any questions. I see there is a question. Yeah, Coin asks, it has VNC functionalities then? Yes, it has. Christopher is asking, is it okay to replace the brand name of the unit? Instead of akYtec, we used our company name. Thank you. That is possible, but I would let Sergey as a product manager to answer that question and give you more details. Sergey, are you here, and would you like to answer that question now? Sergey, do you hear me? We cannot hear you. You muted yourself.
Yes, hello once more. Yes, it is possible to use the SPC with your own brand name. Just send us your requirements regarding the design of of the device, and we will produce everything in this, stickers, front stickers, and any kind of graving on the back part. So there is no problem in this. Just send us the volume you want to purchase, and send us the requirements, and we will discuss it. But in general, if generally answering, and if generally speaking, yes, it is possible.
I hope that Sergey answered your question. Okay, we will move onward with the presentation. Let's go to our CODESYS. So this is CODESYS environment, probably familiar. Most of you are probably familiar with this software environment. So at the moment, what is going on? I am connected with the SPC, which is on the stand in front of me. It has live communication. We can see that everything is successfully connected and communicating. And now we can test software from this as well. I would not bother you with showing the stand once again. Trust me, it is working. Let me explain you a little bit about the CODESYS environment. Here at the moment, I have opened the project that but technical support team created for this SPC. Even though it looks scary, not scary, but rather complicated compared to the ALP that we have for our PRs, it is pretty simple once you have experienced all the troubles. Since I'm part of technical support, I went through most of the troubles myself, and now I can help you with most of the things. I would not want to, say all, but with most. We have many technical support engineers which will answer, and they are all aware of the CODESYS environment, familiar with it, and they are ready to answer any questions. But I advise you, before starting working with our equipment, before starting working with CODESYS, I advise you to check the YouTube and start typing CODESYS tutorials. There are a lot of topics, a lot of videos and examples and so on. We will upload ours as well, do not worry. So this is the environment. At the moment, I have opened the visualization, but I will close everything to make it a little bit less complicated to analyze what is going on. So this is how probably, let's say, a fresh project looks like. On the left side, you have device tree. You can see device. You need to connect it. Now, once both dots are green, means communication is established. You have target variables, library managers, PLC programs, and so on. Now that I have come to the PLC program, to point out, CODESYS supports all types of programming. So it supports structured text, ladder diagram, and functional block diagram. That is one criteria for PLC. That is one of the reasons why our programmable relays, PR200, for example, is not labeled as PLC. It is labeled as mini PLC. In ALP, you have only a functional block diagram plus a partially structured text. In CODESYS, you have everything. Let me show you how to create logic inside of other other languages. So this is structured text. It is just when I press the button powering on LED, we will not analyze it. We have a couple of local variables, nothing special. To create additional program, we can right click onto the application, we click add object, and we go to POU. Here we give a name of the program. I will give it a name webinar. We can choose whether it is a program, functional block, or function. We will leave it as program, and we can select whether it is structured text, ladder diagram, functional block. Let's select ladder diagram, click add. Now the environment has adapted, and now we can explore what CODESYS inside of it has. So we can upload blocks. I will not bother you with this information. This is topic for another time, but this is the proof that it has everything. What else? We have task configuration. Task configuration is very important, for example, for PID loops that someone was asking about. Task configuration or task management is a manager of tasks. So, for example, I can write two codes. As you can see, one code is PLC PROG and second is webinar. And I can say that the PLC or SPC in this scenario executes those codes at a different frequency. Frequency is how often, in how many seconds or milliseconds or nanoseconds PLC starts to execute the program. Why is that important? That is important for example, traffic management, load management, and so on. So you would use task configuration combined with the web configuration, and then those charts and graphs about the load in extreme scenarios where you are pushing the SPC to its limit. This is very useful, and this is only possible in CODESYS, not in ALP, to manage interval of execution times of PLCs. Additionally, you have visualization, which was firstly opened. Here you can, on the right side, find all the standard blocks. Is it rectangle, ellipse, polygon, measurement, command controls, lamp switches, so on. Of course, you can upload your own images. You can upload your own animation, so you're not locked with only this. You can upload anything that you want, and there are top videos on how to create your own. So do not worry. So here we have button, small lamp, and potentiometer or slider, however you would like to call it. We can see that we have connected the slider, for example, with the program variable number. And now when we move the slider, we can affect what is going on inside of the program. This is pretty much enough for this first section. Below application, we can see interfaces. Interfaces, as Sergey noted, we have a couple of them. We have RS485, 3 of them. We have RS232 and Ethernet. In this project, we are using Ethernet to communicate with module, our MX210, which is controlling the lamp, for example, in this scenario. And we are using RS485 to show the number of the slider on the SMIT2M. Additionally, we have real-time clock, okay, and akYtec Cloud. So SPC is supported out of the box with our akYtec Cloud. I advise you to check out akYtec Cloud features from our website. So we have adapted SPC with cloud. You can connect it straight away, play it, partially display graphics of HMI on the cloud, and so on. It is fully compatible. Let me check whether there are any questions. Just let me see how to. No. Okay. Questions in chat. Okay, partnership branding. There are no questions. So I would say this is the end for this part of the presentation. My presentation, Sergey, if you're here, just let me check whether Sergey is in the presentation still. I do not see his image. You're here.
Yes, I can hear you.
this is pretty much what Sergey planned for this presentation, this part of the presentation. We showed almost everything. Unfortunately, there are always technical issues. I would not bother our guests in the meantime. I would say that is it from my part.
Okay, guys, if you have any questions, you can just ask them or just unmute yourself. Kirill, please give our guests the opportunity to unmute themselves. And we can, me and Pavle can answer them live. Or you can just send any kind of questions, everything. Pavle, you are sharing your
Yes,
screen.
I'm
Yes.
sharing my notepad just to point out that this is my email address. If anybody wants to send any question to my email, I will write it in the chat as well. Meeting
You
group
can
chat.
send technical questions to Pavle if you have some questions regarding the business aspects, regarding your orders or any kind of cooperation. You can send them to me and we will answer as soon as possible.
Right.
Are there any questions? If no, then probably I can say that we finished, and thank you very much for joining us today and for your time and for your attention. It is really valuable for us to communicate with you directly and to be able to hear your needs and pains and probably questions about our and any other equipment. So thank you very much.
We thank you too.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.